Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Vindman.
I'm Jasmine Clark.
I'm Amanda Weinstein.
And this is the Suburban Women Problem. We're recording this on Wednesday, the day after the election, and we're joined by one of our favorite guests, Jess McIntosh. Jess, I'm so glad you're here to help us celebrate these wins and talk about what it all means.
I really can't overstate how important what happened on Tuesday was. It's what we used to refer to as an off-year election, which we all know there's no such thing anymore. It all matters. Everything's on. The stakes are so high every time. Abortion was on the ballot all over the place. We all know about issue 1 in Ohio, but abortion was on the ballot in Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. It was on the ballot in Virginia's state legislature. And everywhere it won. That means that we are now 7 for 7 in terms of ballot initiatives that protect reproductive rights. And that goes from red states like Montana and Kansas to blue states like Vermont to the swingiest of swing states like Ohio. When we say that this is an issue that animates women across the partisan divide, this is what we mean. You do not get to 57% wins with just Democrats. I wish that there were so many
Exactly,
Democrats.
yeah.
But you can't. That means Republican women, independent women, rural women, married women, white women, nobody wants to lose their bodily autonomy. It's really just that simple.
I mean, the majority of men voted for issue 1 in Ohio, right? It wasn't even just women. Like the majority of people were like, maybe government shouldn't be that involved with my personal life.
I think that it sets such a bad precedent when you do that people are kind of like seeing that now. And they're like, yeah, no, that is actually extreme or we are seeing a rise in extremism. And so we need to protect ourselves from that. And that's what I feel like this was a referendum on. It's just like, yeah, it was a referendum on extremism and people rejected it.
And I do want to say that there was something special about Ohio because we're 7 for 7. We went everywhere. Got it. That's great. What Ohio women had to go through to have this victory.
The voters of Ohio just jumped through like 28 flaming hoops, not like just hoops, but they were on fire and they jumped through them. And then last night, I don't know who he is, guys. Sorry, I don't know everyone's name in Ohio, but said, well, there are legislative tools still at our disposal that we will use. What, to thwart the will of the people?
Oh, that would be the Speaker of the House, Matt Huffman, throwing a little tantrum or a mantrum, if you will. They were very upset. They had a lot of feelings. There were a lot of mantrums on the Twitter last night from Republican men. They're very upset right now. We might need to be a little gentle with their feelings that they didn't win and they should get used to it, I think. And they said, yeah, they're going to this doesn't stop us. They're planning to put it up on the ballot again because they have a majority right now. Based on an unconstitutional map and gerrymandered map. So they will just keep putting it on the ballot. And to that, I say, go right ahead, because we just showed you we will show up. So I'm happy to keep showing up for every single election.
Do they want to keep losing? Because I feel like things like that are like, I am losing really bad, but I'm going to just double down on this. Even if I just lose, I am going to lose in a, blaze of glory. I don't understand when it's going to click that they need to switch gears.
No, the disinformation, honestly, it reminded me of I haven't seen disinformation like this in any campaign since 2016, since I was on the Hillary Clinton campaign. And at that point,
you like to go big or go home in Ohio. So
yeah, the disinformation was coming from Russia then. Here it was coming from inside the House. It was coming from the governor's mansion. It was coming from the state legislature. It was coming from Republicans in office in Ohio.
It was on the ballot. The ballot wording was misinformation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The TV ads that Ohio was subjected to that just straight up said that the ballot initiative was about something that it was not and left out what it was about. The ballot language that discluded IVF and miscarriage care. Just the fact that Ohio women had to vote no in August and yes on Tuesday is a big deal. Like, that is very difficult to get people to turn out twice for a thing and then to vote different ways for the same result. They tried every dirty trick in the book, and we won anyway. And I want that to be a lesson to people. One, that when we mobilize, we win. And two, they wouldn't be resorting to these tactics if they could win a good faith argument, but they can't. That's why
they know they can't.
That's why they don't say that they want to get rid of sex ed in schools. That's why they don't say that they want to ban Toni Morrison. That's why they don't say that they want to stop teaching American history. That's why they say parents' rights, because they know if they actually tell us what they want,
pro-baby,
we reject
pro-woman.
Right. I just want to take a moment to thank you three, honestly. Like the Suburban women exit polling. I mean, an exit polling, please take every exit poll that you ever read with an enormous helping of salt. Yeah. But
it's all data. A little bit of salt is good.
Now that the results are in, we can sort of see that the exit polls probably weren't wrong, because we don't get to those numbers without those. Suburban women really did it. Like, they did this. And they
high five yourselves, ladies.
Seriously. Like, everybody who is listening to this podcast, everybody who has ever taken an action because these ladies have suggested that you should, like, this win is on you. Like, this is yours. So, like, thank you. You know, there are people who have rights because you all decided to organize, because you were sick of being underestimated, and because you wanted to be heard, and you were. You're so powerful. You're so powerful.
And we did it our way, I think. We didn't do it with hacks and misinformation. We did it by talking at the bus stop, and we did it by having coffee with a friend.
That's
and we
how
did it by
is.
all this. Yes, I know.
It's about authenticity. And that is when we reach people, you might not have the perfect words. I don't have, it's not like drop the most beautiful words, but you might not have like the perfect speech to give, and it might not be practiced, but when you speak from your heart and you're genuine, people understand that. And that's what you said. Like, Amanda, we had coffee, we talked to people at the bus stop, we talked to people and connected with people, and it was real.
Yeah, we shared our stories. We don't need talking points. No one knows your story. No one can say that wasn't the right talking point for your story. It's your damn story.
Right. And we didn't perform. I think that was a big thing. It was like, it was a performance. It was a performance. And it was a performance for school board. It was a performance for the media. They did so much for media attention, all those things. And I think what we do is we just say, let's have a real conversation. And then let's show people how to have real, authentic conversations with their friends. And we don't have to be all, in the camera, like, ooh, look at me, look what I'm doing. We don't have to do that. We can actually go to our neighbors and say, hey, let's have coffee in our driveway and talk about the things that are important to us. And that is true grassroots. That's the difference between AstroTurf and grassroots. AstroTurf is all about the performance. And yeah, you might have a lot of money behind you, and money can get you in front of the cameras, but is money getting you into the hearts of the actual people who will vote? And I don't think it is.
Or men in your chat group telling you what you should do and say and think. Moms for Liberty.
Yes.
We saw those chats. We saw.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was embarrassed for them.
Me too.
But I do.
Ladies.
I mean, I was just like, oh gosh. I mean, this is also, Jasmine, I just want to say, I love the idea of coffee at the end of your driveway, because I don't want people to see the dishes in my sink.
Oh, that's
and also I can wear sunglasses to cover the fact that I'm not wearing makeup and all these things. Yes. So I'm very pro coffee at the end of your driveway.
The disinformation that's going to flood the airwaves when Donald Trump is back on the ballot is ungodly. It is unholy. It is not none of the words that we're going to hear in the Bible. It is not okay. We should not have to deal with this. So what we did was what we need to do, but we did it in an environment that was a little easier, I'm going to say, than the one we're going to be facing next year. So this week was a really good microcosm of what next year is going to be like the whole year. Was, you turn on the TV and everybody's saying that Democrats are dead because no one cares about abortion and it's all about the economy, as if those two things are not the same, and nobody likes Joe Biden. And in the middle of that firestorm of negativity, you have to keep talking to your friends. You have to keep having coffee at the end of the driveway. You have to turn it off and ignore it. And we just have to be heads down, do the work, ignore the noise. And but the other thing that we can do is, like what Ohio is doing in 2024, they're going to have another ballot initiative on the ballot. And it's going to be about ending gerrymandering. It's going to be about having a fair redistricting commission. So to the extent that we can take this,
not sexy, super important.
so important. I mean, it is democracy.
Make it sexy.
It is repro rights. And it will really, really piss them off because they can't win if they're not cheating. So if we take away their ways of cheating, they're going to be so sad. Do it,
But I think your point is really important for Virginia, because we were told not to have these conversations. Don't mention CRT. Don't talk about our schools. It will all just go away if we ignore them. And this is what happened last time in Virginia. And suddenly this time, when we're having these conversations in Virginia, a completely different outcome. Look what happened to the Virginia legislature. These are great things.
Look what happened to Glenn Youngkin's presidential campaign.
I know. I'm so excited about this. I'm like, I feel like, honestly, 2020 was maybe the fluke. It was the wake up call for Democrats. And, now we're seeing no, we actually, when we talk about the issues that we care about, we actually win, and we win definitively, and we flip houses. That's amazing. I can't wait to see that in Georgia. So when I see other states do it, it makes my little heart flutter. So I'm so excited about what happened in Virginia.
And Virginia is large. This is where you get the strategist pundits. Virginia is seen as a bellwether. So what this means is that for the next year,
we can say, "I told you so."
They know, even the Bill Kristols of the world know that Glenn Youngkin, champion of parents' rights, failed. He failed miserably. He failed. He couldn't even hang on to the one chamber that he had, much less flip another chamber. He lost across the state. That doesn't work. It turns out we actually don't like extremism. We want common sense. And that goes across party lines. And that's going to matter a ton in 24. So this not only did it protect the rights of women in Virginia and lots of people in Virginia, and it stopped Virginia schools from turning into Florida schools, it also stopped the pundit class from declaring that these issues didn't matter for the next year. They know they do. They can't say that without looking silly now. It's not going to stop them from saying it, but at least we can laugh at them with more security.
As a very recent Virginian, I have moved from there, but was very much on my heart. And I was checking obsessively the results there last night, and just so excited. And seeing their joy was also just, really great on social media, and seeing how
I've been smiling all day. I have crow's feet. My trolls are pointing it out, and it just makes me more excited the more they point it out. And I'm like, I know it's because I'm smiling so much.
Why are they pointing out? Yeah.
I mean, I really do actually.
I'm so exhausted,
but ladies, it's not a thing for me. But I do actually like my crow's feet, and I like that it.
I like my crow's feet.
Me too. I was thank you.
I'm not in love with all of the aspects of aging, but I gotta say my crow's feet are look, I do smile sometimes. Look at that.
You told me to smile more, and I did. And now you're complaining about how much I'm smiling. And ladies, I am smiling a lot today, and I just can't help it.
And I think this is important. I think there's actually a substantive point to make about how happy we are, because I want to remember in 2018, right? Okay, so 2016 sucks, awful. We drank under the desk for weeks afterwards. Maybe I drank under the desk for weeks afterwards. I don't know what you all did, but it was not a good look. 2018, right? We win big. We win bigger than we have won in a midterm ever. We defy all expectations. Young people turn out and vote. Women are, all of it. But what were we happy on election night? Were we happy the next day? No, we weren't. We were terrified. It took us 2 full weeks to actually absorb the fact that we had won. 2020 went about the same way. I mean, it took him a really long time to count those ballots. Joe Biden did not win on election. He was not declared on election night. He was declared after. But we sat there with fear and looking around, is this real? I don't know. It feels kind of good, but is it? And now I have to I'm second guessing myself, all of that. And that happened again in 2020. This time we didn't have any lag. We won. We recognized we won. We celebrated that we won. We started celebrating loud last night, and we're even louder today. That's what we need to do. This defense. We came out of the defensive crouch. Mm-hmm. Democrats have been in a defensive crouch since 2016, a paralytic defensive crouch. Mm-hmm. And it's we've sort of been nudging our way back to normal since then. And I feel like this is the one where the dam broke. We didn't look around. I mean, I'm a Mets fan, which really does prepare you for being a Democrat, because I'm always ready to lose. Even when we're winning, it's we're not really winning though. We're only winning with stuff that doesn't matter. We're going to lose.
Yes, sounds like being a Falcons fan.
Yes. So we need to not do that as Democrats. Like, we are big and mighty and we win. And so the fact that we're all happy today actually does have a substantive point. Like, it does matter for 2024 that we are loud and proud about our victories, because we all share them. Everybody did this. This wasn't Joe Biden. This wasn't the top of the ticket. This wasn't the Senate candidate. This was you, literally you.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this special election recap episode. We are so grateful to have this community, and we're so proud of the difference that we all made last night. Thank you again. We will see you next week on another episode of the Suburban Women Problem.